In breaking news just in, the National Australia Bank has confirmed they will acquire the popular neobank 86400.
NAB is proposing a takeover of 86400 to merge it with its online Ubank division. That would see one of Australia's newest banks swallowed up by one of its biggest.
For decades, the Big Four have towered over Australia's financial landscape.
Did 86400 just sell out? Is this another win for the Big Four banks? Or is it innovation making its mark? Welcome back to Money by Majella, your weekly go-to for a drink and a think on all things finance and investing. Today is going to be a juicy one with a little bit of finance goss for you, so grab your cups and let's get into the tea on what's going down with the NAB acquisition of 86400. I found doing the research for this week's video so entertaining because it was only 6 months ago where we were seeing interviews all over YouTube with the CEO or the CFO of 86400 talking about how they were the new neobank designed to compete with the Big Four banks and bring something to the Australian people that the Big Four just haven't provided. And it's true, 86400 do have some really amazing features which actually drew me in and was what triggered me to find out about this whole acquisition in the first place. But what's hilarious about the whole situation is that they were really playing on this marketing trend of a neobank, a smart bank, a digital alternative to the Big Four banks. And then only a mere 3 months later, they announced that they're being acquired by National Australia Bank, one of the Big Four. It's just really quite a funny thing to see them really selling this classic neobank for the people story. I mean, in one of the interviews, the CEO Robert Bell says that we didn't need a royal commission into the financial services to tell Australia that the banking sector was broken. And he promises that 86400 will be a very different sort of bank. He says that banking has lost sight of its purpose and exists solely to turn a profit at the expense of everything else. And that 86400 seriously believed that they could be an alternative to the Big Four. Now to see them swallowed up by NAB and announce that they will be combined with Ubank, it all just really seems like hollow words. So first, let's just back up a little bit and look at what is a neobank. Put simply, a neobank or a digital bank exists to be competition to the Big Four banks. They don't have any physical branches or big overhead costs, and as such, they're able to pass on these savings to their customers. They've also been able to start fresh, so their systems are innovative and have very attractive features that the big banks haven't been able to provide. The core value of digital banks or neobanks is to provide Australians with something that the Big Four don't, and that's putting the customer first. CEO of 86400 Robert Bell puts it really nicely when he said, "What neobanks are really about are having the customer's interest at heart, not our own profits." Just before selling to NAB for $222 million. This promise to be unlike the Big Four banks is what 86400 really pushed, and it's what makes this whole acquisition just so comical. And you know what? Founder of its competitor, Xinja, Eric Wilson, really called it right at the beginning. When 86400 first got the go-ahead and received their license, Xinja released a public statement that cast a whole lot of shade. It highlighted the fact that 86400 had ties to Bendigo Bank and MasterCard, which really negated its independence from the dominating financial services in the sector. Eric Wilson's statement to Business Insider read like this:
"Obviously, congratulations to the team at 86400. However, 86400 is effectively owned by an existing bank, so we don't necessarily expect as much disruption of the industry from 86400 as we would from a truly independent bank."
I mean, you weren't wrong, Wilson. You weren't wrong. But honestly, if I had bought into 86400's marketing campaign and had switched just to avoid the Big Four banks, I'd be pulling the dagger out of my back right about now. But putting the betrayal aside, let's look at the facts. Receiving their license in July of 2019, 86400 saw some really good growth, and in April of 2020, NAB announced plans to prioritize their Ubank arm to deliver a market-leading digital bank. And by the end of 2020, NAB already owned 18.3% of 86400. And by January of 2020, they decided to make it official, announcing their plans to buy the remaining shares of 86400 and acquire the bank as their own. And in March, the ACCC announced that they would not oppose this acquisition. So what does this mean for current 86400 users? Well, post-acquisition, NAB will combine 86400 with its existing digital arm, Ubank. And so what we'll see is a combination of Ubank's existing customer base, brand, and colleagues with 86400's technologically innovative platform. On first glance, it may seem like a kick in the gut to anyone who signed up with 86400 to get away from the big four banks. However, for now at least, it appears that there won't be any significant changes for 86400 users. Our good friend Robert Bell says that coming together with Ubank will accelerate 86400's growth and really allow the platform to reach even more Australians with their smarter banking approach. And this is in line with their overarching goal to provide Australians with a simple way of banking so that they can get in control of their finances. 86400 argues that this acquisition will actually benefit its existing customers, as they will have more money to then invest into new and improved products. And when we compare Ubank and 86400, their interest rates are relatively similar. So we have a 1.1% with Ubank and a 1.2% with 86400. Knowing that Ubank often provides one of the most competitive rates, I definitely wouldn't be concerned as an 86400 user being brought across. For me as a Ubank customer, I'm actually quite excited about the acquisition, as it means I will reap the benefits of all of the innovation that 86400 will bring. Some of the features that 86400 currently have are really cool. They'll notify you of upcoming subscriptions, and they even help users find cheaper alternatives for their energy providers. But the coolest thing for me is that 86400 allows you to sync up all of your different bank accounts, and you can very quickly get an understanding of how much money you have across all of your accounts. So as a Ubank customer, I am super excited for this technological makeover. And so I guess when you really look at it, did the big four banks win, or is 86400 the real winners here? Have they just taken one step closer to achieving what they set out to do, which is to make banking more simple for more Australians, whilst also bringing in a casual $220 million? If you enjoy this content, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up. It means the absolute world to me. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content on finance and investing. And we'll see you in the next video.